The price of ambition. A dream ignites. In the bustling city of New York, Sarah Green was a name known in almost every high-rise office. She was a prodigious talent in the world of corporate law, having risen through the ranks at an unprecedented speed. Her colleagues often joked that she must have been born with a legal brief in her hand. Sarah had one goal: to become a senior partner at her firm by the time she was 40. From a young age, Sarah's ambition burned brightly. Her parents, both high achievers, had instilled in her a drive for success. They celebrated her every achievement and reminded her that she was destined for greatness. This constant reinforcement fueled Sarah's determination to excel in everything she did. At 35, Sarah was well on her way to achieving her dream. She worked long hours, often staying at the office until the early hours of the morning. Her dedication paid off. She won case after case, earning the admiration and envy of her peers. However, this relentless pursuit of success came at a cost. A personal sacrifice. Sarah's personal life began to suffer. She rarely saw her family and friends, missing birthdays, anniversaries, and other important events. Her parents, once her biggest supporters, grew concerned about the toll her career was taking on her well-being. "You need to find a balance, Sarah," her mother would often say, but Sarah brushed off these concerns, believing that sacrifice was necessary for success. One evening, Sarah received a call from her younger sister, Emily. "Sarah, we need to talk," Emily said, her voice heavy with concern. "Mom hasn't been well and you haven't been around. She's been asking for you." Sarah felt a pang of guilt, but pushed it aside. "I've just been so busy, Emily. I'll make time to visit soon, I promise." Days turned into weeks, and Sarah continued to prioritize work over family. Then one day, she received a call that shook her to the core. Her mother had suffered a stroke. Sarah rushed to the hospital, but by the time she arrived, it was too late. Her mother had passed away. A heartbreaking realization. The grief and guilt were overwhelming. Sarah had been so focused on her career that she had neglected the people who mattered most. At her mother's funeral, she looked around at the faces of friends and family, realizing how distant she had become from them. Her father, who had always been her rock, seemed to have aged overnight, his grief etched deeply into his features. Emily approached Sarah, her eyes filled with tears. "She kept asking for you, Sarah. She wanted to see you one last time." Sarah broke down, the weight of her regrets crushing her. "I'm so sorry, Emily. I was so blinded by my ambition that I forgot what was truly important." In the weeks that followed, Sarah struggled to find meaning in her work. She still loved her job, but it no longer felt like the most important thing in the world. She began to reevaluate her priorities, realizing that success without loved ones to share it with was hollow and meaningless. A new perspective. Sarah decided to take a leave of absence from the firm. She spent time reconnecting with her family and friends, finding solace in their company. She volunteered at local charities, using her legal expertise to help those in need. For the first time in years, she felt a sense of fulfillment that her career had never provided. When Sarah eventually returned to work, she did so with a new perspective. She still worked hard, but she no longer let her job consume her. She made time for the people she loved and ensured that her colleagues did the same. Her newfound balance made her a better lawyer and a better person. Years later, Sarah achieved her goal of becoming a senior partner, but it no longer felt like her greatest accomplishment. Her true success lay in the relationships she had nurtured and the lives she had touched along the way. She realized that ambition and drive were important, but they should never come at the expense of what truly matters. Moral lesson: ambition is important, but it should never overshadow the value of relationships and personal well-being. True success comes from finding a balance between professional achievements and the love and support of family and friends. Resilience. John and Mary Johnson had 3 children, Alex, Lily, and Ben. Life was not easy for them. John worked long hours at the local factory, while Mary took care of the children and managed a small vegetable garden to supplement their income. Despite their struggles, the family was happy. They found joy in simple things, playing board games together, tending to the garden, and sharing stories by the fireplace. However, as the children grew older, the financial strain on the family became more pronounced. Alex, the eldest, was a bright student with dreams of becoming an engineer. He had been accepted into a prestigious university, but the cost of tuition was far beyond the family's means. Determined to help, Alex took on multiple part-time jobs, but it still wasn't enough. He watched as his parents fretted over bills, their faces lined with worry. A secret plan. One evening, after the younger children had gone to bed, John and Mary sat at the kitchen table discussing their options. "I don't know how we're going to do this, John," Mary said, her voice trembling. "We can't let Alex give up on his dreams." John sighed, rubbing his temples. "I know, Mary, but we can't afford it, not without making some serious sacrifices." Unbeknownst to them, Alex had overheard the conversation. He knew how much his education meant to his parents, and he couldn't bear to see them suffer. That night, he made a decision. He would defer his admission and work full-time to save money for his tuition. He knew it would be hard, but he was willing to do whatever it took to ease the burden on his family. The next morning, Alex shared his plan with his parents. "I've decided to defer my admission for a year," he said. "I'll work and save up the money we need." John and Mary were stunned. "Alex, you've worked so hard to get into that university," Mary said, tears in her eyes. "We can't let you give up your dreams." "I'm not giving up," Alex replied firmly. "I'm just postponing them. This way we can make sure Lily and Ben have what they need too." A year of hardship. Over the next year, Alex worked tirelessly. He took on every job he could find, from construction work to waiting tables. He rarely had a moment to himself, but he never complained. His parents watched with a mix of pride and sorrow, knowing the immense sacrifice their son was making for the family. Lily and Ben were too young to fully understand the gravity of the situation, but they noticed the changes. Alex was no longer around to play with them as often, and when he was home, he was usually exhausted. Despite this, he always made time to help them with their homework and read them bedtime stories. The year passed slowly, but Alex's determination never wavered. He saved every penny he earned, and by the end of the year, he had enough money to cover his first year of tuition. His parents offered to contribute what little they could, but Alex insisted on using his own savings. A rewarding journey. When Alex finally started university, he carried with him the lessons he had learned during that year of hard work and sacrifice. He studied diligently, knowing that his family's support and his own perseverance had made it possible for him to be there. He also found ways to give back to his community, tutoring younger students and volunteering at local charities. Years later, Alex graduated with honors and secured a well-paying job as an engineer. His success was not just a personal achievement, it was a testament to the collective efforts and sacrifices of his family. He used his newfound financial stability to support his siblings' education, ensuring that Lily and Ben had the opportunities they deserved. Alex never forgot the lessons he had learned from his parents' quiet strength and his own year of sacrifice. He remained humble and grateful, always mindful of the importance of family and community. Moral lesson. True success is not measured by personal achievements alone, but by the sacrifices we make and the support we give to those we love. Family and community are the foundations upon which lasting success is built.